If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Got a ton of experience in these cars, and you may have heard him on some of the Nitro Circus broadcasts as well. And I'll tell you what here, Mike, we're looking forward to a pretty darn good show here out of the Silver Crowns at Iowa.
Indeed we are, Chris. 7/8 of a mile, built by Rusty Wallace, has hosted everything from NASCAR. Well, actually didn't host NASCAR modifieds, but it's hosted NASCAR Xfinity, NASCAR trucks, IndyCar. These Silver Crowns, even in real life. I mean, it's what an amazing track. I think we're in for a hell of a race tonight.
Yeah, this one is going to be a ton of fun to watch all the way around. And some of the big names that we're used to seeing are here tonight, as are some of the names that, well, quite frankly, I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen more of, including River Hayes, who's making, I believe, only his second start of the season here in the Silver Crowns. And River was the runaway champion 1 season ago.
We'll see what River is going to do here tonight, but really would not be a surprise to see River Hayes doing some pretty spectacular things here.
No, it wouldn't. I've raced with River before. He's such a tenacious competitor, such a fast driver. I mean, it's going to be really tough for guys to keep up with him. But I don't think it's out of the question with guys like Jeffrey Stanton, obviously one of our the sprint car guys. That's my that's my click. So I'm going to try not to be biased here. You got guys like Thomas Lewandowski, who's at the top of the board right now. I mean, yeah, this like Rivers is a very fast driver, but he is by no means without competition.
Yeah, that is for sure. Qualifications are underway here. River Hayes going to be third quick on the speed charts. Taking a look at the timing and scoring monitors, and Thomas Lewandowski going to be quick timer so far at 21.533 seconds as we look at the car of Nate Ranke. We'll see what Nate's going to be able to do here. One of only 3 cars that haven't taken time yet, including Vinny Sansone and Mike McConville. I'll tell you what here, Mike, looking at the timing and scoring charts here, some interesting names towards the back of the pack here, including Derek Love and Brandon Buckberger.
Definitely. I mean, Derek's a really fast guy. He said sometimes he is not exactly the best qualifier, so seeing him back there isn't too much of a surprise, but I do expect him to shoot way up front during the race.
Pulling up the iRacing Championship standings here, at least as quickly as we can get them to load over here on my end of things. And Brandon Buckberger is your points leader, 610 points. 558 is the mark for Ryan Steele, so already a 60-point lead for Buckberger. Thomas Lewandowski, Manuel Paredes, Pablo Donoso, your top 5. Derek Love, Jeffrey Stanton, Kevin DeBello, Wes Shire, and Timothy Watson, the top 10 here in overall Silver Crown points. And Division 2 also has had a pretty good battle getting ready to brew here. Currently, well, it was before last week anyway. Kevin DeBello sitting on 342 points, 292 for Wes Shire, Laura Gerhardt, Brian Elmore, Rodrigo Munoz, your top 5 there in Division 2. So really an impressive field all the way around here, Mike, and this race specifically should be a pretty darn good one here because the Iowa Speedway is big, it's wide, it's fast, but we're going to go 80 laps here as we get ready to roll off.
Definitely. I mean, with such a field this strong, I don't know exactly what the strength of field is right now. I could probably let me see if I can find that. I don't use any of these things that let you see it, so that's probably a lost cause. But we have such a strong field tonight. I mean, I've raced with all these guys previously in last season. I haven't actually gotten around to running these cars this season, but if they're anything like they were last season, all these guys are the same, then we're in for a hell of a show tonight.
Yeah, this one is going to be pretty darn spectacular here. And let's get you the starting lineup for tonight's race. Thomas Lewandowski, Manuel Paredes is going to make up row number 1. River Hayes and Pablo Donoso on row number 2. Rodrigo Munoz, Jeffrey Stanton will occupy the 3rd row tonight. Wayne Hutchison and Ryan Steele on row number 4. Joe Quinn, Gonzalo Munoz on row 5, Derek Love, and Nate Ranke on row number 6. Row 7 will have Brandon Buckberger and Joseph Smith. Wes Shire, Laura Gerhardt in row number 8. Row 9, John Andrade III and Vinny Sansone. Tommy Toe, James Watson on row number 10. Mike McConville will be all alone at the back of the pack here. McConville did not set a time in qualifications, so possibly there's, some connection issues or what here, we'll see. But field getting ready to roll off. And this, I hate to overemphasize this, but Iowa Speedway is wide and incredibly fast. I mean, the banking is deceptively high around this place.
Yeah, it is, and there's also so many lanes you can run here. I mean, you can run basically anywhere on the track, make it work. I mean, some lanes are obviously going to be a little bit slower than others, but you can run all the way at the wall, you can run all the way down on the hill, and you can even run the middle. I mean, it's going to be a real challenge for these guys to figure out where they want to run, what they're comfortable with, and what suits their car the best, honestly, because especially with the way you can adjust these cars with the in-car weight jacker, you can play around and try and, move up and down a little bit.
Want to remind everybody, check in the comments. We'll do our best to at least give you a shout out here if we can't get your comments up on the air in their entirety. But what an absolutely fantastic view. The Iowa Speedway, when it is full, place is absolutely rocking. For the original IndyCar races that they hosted here back in the early 2000s, temporary seating extended all the way back to the entry of turn number 4. Turn number 1 is still all the hospitality suites and tented chalets and all that kind of stuff. Great look at those there. And on the back straightaway, one of the neatest sights in motorsports, the RV parking literally faces the racetrack. So if you get an RV spot at the Iowa Speedway, you have the best view in the house for the entire weekend. Field making their way down the back straightaway. We are going to get ready to go green flag racing. Lights are out on the iRacing safety car. 80 laps the distance. Pace car pulls in, and race fans, as always, the start of the Silver Crown Cup is yours. One lap in the books already. Going to be race leader Thomas Lewandowski by 0.2 of a second over Manuel Paredes. River Hayes up to the 3rd position. Jeffrey Stanton holding on to 4th. There's Stanton looking way up against the outside, the old Harry Gant line, as they make their way off of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. Mike, one of the big keys to this car here tonight, I would imagine, is going to be conserving those right side tires.
Yeah, I talked to some drivers before the race, Chris, and all of them said it's like this track is fast, and you're basically going to be just trying to adjust your balance of your car using that weight checker I talked about earlier. But you're also going to need to keep an eye on those right sides. That right front especially is going to fall off, and then you're going to be heading straight for that wall unless you can keep your, keep a hand on it.
As a reminder, caution laps do count. So if we get a caution flag, the laps will count tonight. Same will not be the case tomorrow night for the sprint cars, but it does affect the strategy of how you're going to drive this race. If it runs clean, it's going to run off in a hurry. If it doesn't run clean, it kind of eliminates some of the attack chances you have because you're going to spend a lot of laps logging under caution here. As Jeffrey Stanton thought about trying to get to the outside of Manuel Paredes for second. Stanton able to make that high side work. River Hayes running the middle groove. Pablo Donoso all the way at the bottom.
He's making that move on the inside. Right now, I don't think that outside is quite ready to come in, but Jeffrey's going to try his best to make it work. I mean, he's one of the guys who I've always looked for advice in sprint cars, which is very similar to these things. Obviously not identical, but he knows his stuff, and I think he's going to pay attention to this. And he's also going to use this knowledge he's gaining tonight for tomorrow night when we come back here for sprint cars. There you go. He took second right there. Move on the inside.
Taking a look here at the weather conditions for the evening. Partly cloudy skies, 72 degrees. The track temp only 77. Winds out of the, we'll call it the east-southeast, I guess, 6 or so miles an hour. But the biggest thing here is really going to be that track temperature that's only 77 degrees, Mike. There's a lot of grip in that racetrack right now.
Indeed, there is, and I think that's what might be why that outside line's struggling a little bit. I mean, I've always said that the inside's a little bit stronger on warmer temps, but right now I'm that wrong. It's faster on colder temps on the inside. The outside maybe gets a little bit worse. So maybe if the track heats up, or if it just gets some rubber up there, then we're going to see that outside maybe become that dominant line that Jeffrey Stanton is desperately trying to make it.
How about almost 3 wide off of turn number 4? What a fantastic battle this is. Pablo Donoso. Yep, Donoso down to the inside of Manuel Paredes, excuse me, and right back behind him is Ryan Steele. And I don't want to say it's too early to start thinking about drop weeks and some of that kind of stuff, but the reality of things is you never want to have to count on a potential drop week here. And when your strength of field is 38.63, there's a lot of points on offer here tonight.
Yeah, there definitely are. From experience, I mean, drop weeks, they're a blessing, a curse, because it's like, yeah, you'll get that bad week, but it just puts more pressure on you to be better in the weeks following up. So I know I was struggling with that at the end of the sprint car season last. I was trying to get 15 points. I don't think I quite got there, but it's only just because I had a couple bad weeks, and I was just trying my best to make it up the tracks, which just didn't favor me.
We've been clean and green, and we're knocking on wood here at the NRN World Broadcast headquarters as lap number 13 goes up on the scoreboard. And this race is ticking off in a big-time hurry here, only 8 minutes in. And we've got a fantastic battle back here for 7th and 8th. Nate Ranke, Joe Quinn going to be battling here. The 12 of Ranke down to the inside, the 8 of Quinn up on the outside. That fight's going to start to settle in, but Mike, this is really where, when the race goes green, I would imagine you start to feel a little bit of pressure if you're going to be back here where Ranke, Quinn, Munoz, Wayne Hutchison, these guys are going to have to get to the front if they're not going to be able to benefit from the caution flags.
Yeah, they are. They're going to have to make sure they just manage their tires better, though. I mean, I'm talking about tires. I can see Jeffrey Stanton. I've been watching him for a while. He seems to be getting a little bit tight off. Maybe that right front's coming off, and maybe he's got to move around that weight jacker, but just coming off before, he's getting ever so closer to that wall. But all those guys back there,
he almost got a big piece of it there.
I was like, man, exactly what I was saying. They just all got to try their best to hold on to it. To see who's going to keep trying to get that outside to work. That kind of does hurt that right front, so maybe he has to try a different lane. Who knows?
It's almost one of those, I would imagine you could sort of make the car tight early on through the weight jacker and then try to back it down neutral as the stint goes on. So you're going to basically start it as tight as you can get it. And as the car wants to naturally loosen up anyway with the fuel burn off, you can loosen the car even further with the weight jacker.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were doing. What we've always done. What I've always done is I've set mine up like all the way super tight and scaled it that way. Just make sure I have that. I guess that turning coming into the later half of the run, because I've always struggled with that right front. You see Jeffrey Stanton side by side, almost getting passed by River Hayes there.
Yeah, Hayes going to work to the inside into turn number 1. Manuel Paredes has a fantastic view of that battle, as does Ryan Steele and Pablo Donoso. 5 cars all fighting for the second position. Is a little bit surprising here. Thomas Lewandowski really not getting away by a ton here with this big battle going on right behind him.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the intervals. He's definitely gaining a little bit. It's maybe 300th a lap or something, but not the 10th that you'd expect from like a guy who's led every lap so far. Just shows the draft is very important in this race, and it's really keeping Jeffrey and River in it.
Jeffrey Stanton has the fastest lap of the race at a 21.770. Last time by, Nate Ranke was quickest, 22 flat. So we're already seeing a pretty significant drop-off in lap times here, and we're only at the quarter distance mark.
Yeah, but I only saw 20 lap averages from some of our guys here, and they did seem like the fall off was starting. So right now we are heading into uncharted territory, at least for what I've seen.
Right now the gap for race leader. Oh, almost a little bit of contact there in turns 1 and 2. Race leader Thomas Lewandowski holding on to a 0.5 of a second lead over a great second place battle between Jeffrey Stanton and River Hayes. Ryan Steele's now managed to clear Manuel Paredes, who's going to have to fight with Pablo Donoso, but this battle for second has been fantastic.
Yeah, I think if you talk about the time that they've been side by side, not side by side since battles began, I think they're going to be maybe 2 or 3 seconds total that Jeffrey and River haven't been, wheel to wheel. And now they're almost going 3 wide out of 4 there, I see. Wow. Just great driving this game.
Let's go on board here with Ryan Steele. Take a listen to this car, see what the throttle application's like. The really interesting thing that we're hearing to me there, Mike, is it doesn't sound like we ever get completely... Oh, big contact! Hayes almost going to lose it down the backstretch. What a save by River Hayes. Holy cow, what a save there. But, man, now we got a real dogfight here.
Yeah, we got packed, not unlike something you'd see in NASCAR, Daytona, Talladega, IndyCar, maybe in Texas somewhere. Oh, and there's caution that comes out there.
Caution flag is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Looks like Wayne Hutchison, Derek Love may have gotten together here as those cars are both towards the back of the pack here now. Love, I believe, is going to have to take the tow back in here. Keep your eye on that number 10 Dog Bear machine running right in the middle of the racetrack. Oh, a little bit of a hip check. Hutchison goes around, big hit into the outside retaining wall.
It looks like Gonzalo Munoz there is on that inside there. I maybe just got loose, got a little bit tight. It's just unfortunate. Guys got cut off in that, but it was some great racing before that 3 wide.
Taking a look here, another angle of the replay here from Derek Love's perspective. Got it up into the outside wall. Couple of pretty big hits there. That car comes to a stop down on the inside, and Love was trying to get it turned. We'll see if he's going to be able to keep that car rolling, but he's going to have to take the tow back into the pit area. So tough break for Derek Love.
There we go. He's just disconnected.
Javiera Gonzalez checking in the comments here saying, speed up, Pablo. Love the cheerleading that comes in from the comments. And have to give a big shout out to all of our friends down there in Chile and in South America that are watching the broadcast here tonight. Manuel Paredes, Pablo Donoso, a couple of guys that have driven this car in the real world, and they're bringing a big old contingent of fans here. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Taking a look here at the biggest movers of the race. Nate Ranke going to be number 2 on that list, up 5 spots. Vinny Sansone actually up 6 since the drop of the green flag. Nate Ranke in 7th is up 5. Jeffrey Stanton running 2nd is up 4. Ryan Steele up 4 as well. Wayne Hutchison and Derek Love both down double digits in positions here after that incident. Wes Shire down 5 spots as well.
Yeah, Wes having an uncharacteristically bad day. Pick it up, Wes. Pretty please.
That's one of the things as we get a good look there at the Homestead Coffee Roasters, number 17. Wes is one of those guys, very analytical, very thought process driven in his driving style. Some guys are more aggressive. Some guys will send it deep in places at times maybe you really shouldn't. Wes is just very analytical and very, very smart in how he drives these races. Sometimes almost to his detriment, but he's always going to bring the car home in one piece.
Indeed, he is. He's one of the smartest minds for the PM18 deal, especially in TNT. And he's one of my buddies. Obviously I'm a little bit biased here, but he definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to setting up and even like just to drive, and he's a very smooth, analytical guy. It's just weird to see him struggling this much.
Fantastic segue here to give you the upcoming schedule here on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow night, the sprint cars are going to be right back here at the Iowa Speedway. Then we're going to follow things up with the Carolina SimWorks TNT PM18 All-Oval Series. Wednesday night may have a special edition of the High Side Hustle. We'll get you some more information on that. Make sure you keep your eye on our socials. Thursday night, the Ezra IndyCar Series presented by Grid Rival, and the PM18 Indy Pro 2000 Official Series coming up here on the National Racing Network. So a lot of iRacing, a lot of real-world content coming up here over the next week. Green flag goes back in the air. It's a great start for Lewandowski. Not so much for Jeffrey Stanton, as he's going to have to fight Manuel Paredes back for the second position, almost 3 wide back behind him.
Or 2 wide almost 2 wide coming off the corner there for third. Not quite able to hold on to it with Ryan Steele. And now Jeffrey Stanton going all the way up to the third lane to see what he can do coming off the 4 here.
Looking a little bit further back in the field, fantastic battle. 6th, 7th, and 8th. River Hayes, Joe Quinn, Nate Ranke all dueling here. Pablo Donoso a part of that as well, up on the outside of the racetrack. You wonder almost here, Mike, if this isn't a little bit of clean air being that hugely beneficial, because we're seeing Lewandowski open up a gap. He's not able to run out to a 2 or 3 second lead and run away and hide, but he's holding on to a lead that he can keep pretty consistent and manage that gap as he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's the clean air, which I mean definitely could be, but then again, we've seen guys make pass here. I know it's possible, or if maybe just he just nailed something on the setup, or he just put all the practice. I mean, he was, how much faster was he in price? He was about 600 faster than Manuel Paredes in qualifying, so it's not like he's no slouch in terms of car pace. So let's see if Jeffrey or Manuel can do anything about it.
Kind of interesting looking at the top speeds here. Seeing Jeffrey Stanton, Manuel Paredes both up over 172 miles an hour. Lewandowski's top speed is only 167. So it tells me that Stanton, Paredes, these guys are carrying more speed into the corners. Lewandowski is able to maintain that speed a little bit better, though.
Yeah, I think it's more. I think that might be where you're talking about the dirty air. I'm pretty sure Stanton, Paredes, and Ryan Steele, they're all gaining the draft. I mean, Stanton's obviously getting the worst of it, but those guys behind him, they're all gaining a significant amount of speed. And with this car being the drafting beast that it is, I'm not that surprised to be seeing how well they're both doing, how much speed they have going.
These cars punch an absolutely massive hole in the air. Approaching lap number 37 here, pretty quickly closing in on the halfway point as we got the speedometer up there on Manuel Paredes, a little bit over 165 as they got into turn number 1. The other thing you'll notice is the gear selector does not change. These are single gear direct drive race cars as the battle continues to be hot and heavy here. 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th, both side by side. How does that change the way you approach things here as a driver, Mike? Knowing that, you know, the PM18s, the Indy cars, the Cup cars, some of the other stuff we show here on NRN, you can always drop down and grab a gear if you need to. You got what you got here in the Silver Crown cars.
Yeah, it makes this and the sprint car, they both are very momentum-based cars. I mean, you basically have to always be setting up exit. You're going to be foregoing entry a lot of times. So when you're going in, you got to lift a little bit early so you can get on that throttle and try your best. Just real quick, Jeffrey Stanton falling back a little bit, maybe having some struggles, but yeah, I mean, it's all about momentum, and some of these guys are making the best of it, and some of the guys aren't. And, it's just a top line you have to make.
Thomas Lewandowski leading by 1.2 seconds over now Ryan Steele, who occupies the 2nd position. Pablo Donoso coming around Jeffrey Stanton on the inside. That's the good battle there for the 3rd position. Manuel Paredes, River Hayes, both going to have a good look at this one as well.
Talking about tire fall off for a second, I'm just looking at lap times right now. Really, they dropped off, but they've stayed relatively consistent for the time being. So I don't know really what's happening to Jeffrey Stanton. I mean, he's just having a rough day. He's taking 3 wide on the inside. I believe that's that Manuel?
I'd say that's Manuel Paredes moving up here in a hurry. Oh, Stanton almost got up into the outside retaining wall. Pablo Donoso going to look down to the inside of Paredes. This has a almost Pocono-esque feel to it. We spent so much time there last week that seeing the cars fan out 2, 3, 4, even sometimes 5 different lanes you can run around this racetrack.
Yeah, it's always makes the battle so exciting when you know that like you have options. I mean, a lot of tracks are follow the leader, and well, some people like that, some people don't. I mean, tracks like this, I think they're always produce just a little bit better racing. I mean, if you want to talk about leaders, so real quick, Thomas Lewandowski, people are kind of struggling to follow the leader in that situation.
Yeah, Lewandowski's now out to a 1.4 second lead here, and it's been everything he would want in a race here this evening. He's able to gap it out. He's still able to see the cars behind him that are fighting for position. He really hasn't had to push his equipment very hard much at all.
Yeah, not really. He's also getting him, well, if I'm not mistaken, he's sitting very high up in the overall points right now, and he's going to gain a lot of time on Brandon Buschberger, who I believe is the points leader. Buschberger kind of struggling right now, sitting 11th. Not having, as we look at him now, just not really able to, make anything happen. Kind of sitting back, the tail end of the pack. So yeah, good, kind of a rough day for the points leader here.
Ryan Steele coming around Manuel Paredes for the second position. Now, the Chilean natives, Paredes and Donoso, going to battle for the third position. Jeffrey Stanton holding on up there to the outside. He's trying to make that high line work. It really just seems like it has not totally come in yet. You might not be gaining much time up there, but you're not losing a ton either. It has really been fascinating to see how this race has developed, where every line is almost able to turn the same lap speeds.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey's problem is honestly he burned up that right front. I mean, this guy's look at River Hayes right now. He's running the same line as Jeffrey, and he's able to look at the run he'll get off of 4 now. Saw it the last lap. I've seen it the last couple laps. It's just, so he's going to run all the way up that wall, and I'm not exactly quite able to see it, but yeah, he's going to be able to get that run. He's even going to be able to make a move on Jeffrey almost. It's just
big hit into the outside wall for River Hayes. River Hayes now bouncing it off the inside retaining wall. What a huge hit for River Hayes, and no caution flag. River Hayes toes back into the pit area. Absolute heartbreaker for the McConey Setup Shop number 81. River Hayes now going to be all the way back to the 20th position, and a long tow and repair time there for that car. His night going to be just about over here as we're working lap number 51. Get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay on this one. Mike, you sort of talked about it here. It's time to start getting aggressive. We're down to just inside of 30 laps to go. You're going to have to start moving big if you're going to move at all.
Yeah, you're going to have to. I mean, exactly what you said. It's just, it looks like River just got a little bit too aggressive. Seems like he bounced off the side of the number 12 and Nate Reinke, and just, just unfortunate. He was having such a good run. I mean, kind of commentator cursed him there, and I do kind of mad about that, but it's just, just a tough break for him. Just being a little bit too tough on the car.
We haven't done one of these yet tonight since the opening green flag laps of the race. But as we're working down inside of 27 laps to go, we'll get the announcers to be quiet here for a minute. We'll give you race fans at home a chance to crank it up. .55 laps on the scoreboard here this evening. Thomas Lewandowski, the leader, by 1.75 seconds over Ryan Steele. Manuel Paredes, Pablo Donoso, Nate Reinke, your top 5. Joe Quinn, Jeffrey Stanton, Joe Smith, Rodrigo Munoz, and Brandon Buschberger, your top 10. Only 2 cars out of the race at this point. River Hayes having the incident we just saw here a couple of laps ago. Derek Love being scored 31 laps down. Wayne Hutchison, who was also involved in that incident with Derek Love, being scored 1 lap down in the 19th position. Joe Quinn setting the fastest lap of the race last time by. In his number 6 machine, he's going to look to the inside of Pablo Donoso. one of the big things now to watch develop, Mike, over the last 20 or so laps is who's saved their equipment the best, and could we see a late run from somebody?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm looking at Joe Quinn. We talked about him setting the fastest lap right there, and he is absolutely flying through the field. He's not exactly losing time on Lewandowski, but he's maybe gaining just a little bit. If he can get out front, in front of Ryan Steele, he might be able to make a charge for the lead here.
Lap traffic in the form of Wayne Hutchison going to be down to the inside. He'll be clear and out of the way. Rest of the lead pack will come by that Dog Bear number 10 machine.
You also got to keep in mind
20. Oh, go ahead.
We got to keep in mind lap traffic. It's about 10 seconds out, but you know, hey, if something happens, maybe some guys start dropping off like a cliff, like Tommy Toe right now, sitting about 10 seconds ahead of the leader. I mean, something like catastrophic starts happening, those guys could play a little bit of a factor. And we saw Wayne already slowed up Lewandowski a pretty significant amount.
Joe Quinn, Pablo Donoso going to continue their battle. Quinn down to the inside. Quinn may try to go 2 for 1 here, is trying to get around Donoso, but he also wants a piece of Manuel Paredes as well. That number 6 machine looks really good running down on the inside of the racetrack. Now inside of 20 laps to go as we work lap number 62.
Yeah, he's making those fake Hoosiers work overtime. He definitely took it easy on him for a while, but now look at him. He's making a move on him for second place here. But when I said he could chase down Lewandowski, I mean, you know, keep keeping an eye on him because he might be our breakout, our closer to race.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to keep an eye on here as we get into the later stages of this race. Joe Quinn able to hug that inside yellow line. The number 6 looks absolutely fantastic tonight. And guy we haven't hardly talked about it. In fact, we haven't even shown much because he's been gone and out of the shot is race leader Thomas Lewandowski, now holding a 2 1/4 second lead over Ryan Steele and Joe Quinn, who are battling side by side off of turn number 4. Paredes, Donoso, Ranky, all going to be right there with them as well. 6 cars fighting side by side for second.
I think Joe can get it. He's definitely a little bit faster, but then again, maybe he just burned up his tires making his way towards the front. His times have fallen off a little bit, but I do think he just needs to get single filed out, and maybe he can make a charge, just get a little bit closer. So he might need a caution at this point.
Yeah, he hasn't really had to deviate from his chosen line down there on the inside, but that's going to be the toughest on your right front tire and really can lead to burn off on the right rear too if you pick up the throttle too soon.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see like what happens in these next couple laps. I mean, we have a bunch of guys racing super close, racing hard as we always do in the Sprint Car Cup, but or not Sprint Car Cup, Silver Crown, that's tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if anything changes the race. Because Joe Quinn is here and he's ready to race. Just give him the opportunity.
3 wide back in the pack. Nate Ranke fighting Manuel Paredes. Also Pablo Donoso down to the inside. They'll continue 3 wide through 1 and 2.
Oh, and just not quite able to hold on to it with NASCAR. But look at, Donoso still making that inside work. Maybe I'm wondering if this race is more of a race of comers and goers than I thought, but then again, it's like Donoso, I mean, he's been up here all race, but he's starting to show a little bit of speed. Jeffrey Stanton's actually moved down a little bit lower, trying to make something work. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how these next 10 laps, we'll come to 11 laps to go, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, this is where the cars start to really become a handful. The fuel has burned off out of the rear end. You have all the accoutrement at the front of these race cars, which you don't see in the sprint cars. So you've shifted even more weight forward. These things really become a handful now as you get late in the race.
Indeed, they do. I mean, we've had such a long green flag run. And these guys, not only are their tires probably scorching hot, I mean, probably the drivers themselves are starting to get even a little bit worn out. It's just going to be bad. See, as you see Joe Quinn finally able to almost get clear of it, not quite. Ryan Steele's going to try again on the outside to maybe get it back, but they're going to go 3 wide, almost off 4 here. Jeffrey Stanton not too far behind.
Man, what a fantastic battle. Nate Ranke down to the inside. He's going to claim the 3rd position. Ryan Steele, Manuel Paredes going to continue their side-by-side fight. Jeffrey Stanton, Pablo Donoso fighting 2 wide as well here as we're inside at 10 to go. In fact, it's going to be 7 laps remaining this time by, 8 to go this time by the start-finish line.
Talk for
2 1/3.
To point out, Joe Quinn, 1/10 of a second faster there than Lewandowski, but I don't think it's going to be enough at this point.
Yeah, he can gain tenths, but it's not going to make him up the 2 seconds that he needs to get caught up to race leader Thomas Lewandowski.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Joe Quinn he's driven a great race so far. 2nd place is nothing to scoff at, but knowing that you're so much faster coming into the late stage of these races, it's got to be a little bit tough for him.
He is hoping for caution at this point. Nate Ranke up 9 spots from the drop of the green flag. Quinn is up 8 spots from where he started tonight. Shout out a guy back in the pack here that, quite frankly, we haven't been able to show much because the racing's been so good up front, but James Watson up 8 spots from the drop of the green flag, currently running in the 12th position, fighting with John Andrade, Gonzalo Munoz, and Mike McConville.
Speaking of Andrade, right in the wall there, he was coming across the start-finish line. Able to keep it gathered up, though. So, good driving by him.
We'll slide back up here to this battle, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's now 1/3 of a second back here for Joe Quinn to Nate Ranke, but Ranke's going to have to deal with Manuel Paredes and Ryan Steele, as we're down to 4 laps to go here at the Iowa Speedway. In fact, pretty rapidly approaching 3 to go.
Across the line. Yeah, Joe Quinn. I mean, the margins he's gaining on Lewandowski are shrinking a little bit, but he's still gaining. It's just not going to have enough time here. Smoke on the track. We don't.
Trouble. Yep, trouble on the racetrack for Laura Gerhardt. Also, Joseph Smith encountering an issue here as we're inside of 2 to go. Both of those cars able to jump to the pits. We stay under green. Race leader coming off at turn number 4 and across the start-finish line. 1 lap to go in an absolutely dominant performance tonight so far for Thomas Lewandowski. Cleanly off of turn number 2. He's been unchallenged since the drop of the green flag this evening. Makes his way through turn number 4. Checkered flag in the air. Thomas Lewandowski goes wire to wire, claiming the win here at the Iowa Speedway for the Silver Crown Cup. Over Joe Quinn, Nate Ranke, Ryan Steele, Manuel Paredes, your top 5.
And what a great race that was. Some great battles. I mean, we're going to try and see if we can pull in the top 2, I guess, right? Top 3?
Yeah, if we can get them, we'll try to talk to your top 3 finishers here this evening. And I'll tell you what here, Mike, that was abject insanity from 2nd back through 10th. I mean, that was an absolutely unreal race. We saw basically 2nd through 10th.
Yeah, we just had great showing by the drivers today. They all showed up, and they all were like, all right, we're going to come out here and we're going to race our hearts out. We're going to be aggressive, but we're going to be clean, and we're going to be smart. And, it all paid off, and we saw some awesome racing today.
Let's take a look here. Let's get the results here up on the screen for you so we can show you who finished where here in the Silver Crown Cup Strength of Field race here on a Monday night. Thomas Lewandowski, your race winner by 1.9 seconds over Joe Quinn. Nate Ranke, Ryan Steele, Pablo Donoso, your top 5. 6 through 10, Manuel Paredes, Jeffrey Stanton, Brandon Buckberger, Rodrigo Munoz, and James Watson. Mike McConville, John Andrade, Gonzalo Munoz, Vinny Sansone, and Wes Shire back through the 15th position. 16 through 20 is Tommy Toe, Wayne Hutchison, Joseph Smith, Laura Gerhart, and River Hayes. Hayes involved in that single car incident that really put him out in a pretty big way here. And Derek Love, early contact with Wayne Hutchison. Ultimately, a pretty tough break for some of those guys. Let's pick up our 4th place finisher here tonight, Ryan Steele. And so we got him in the booth with us here, right? I'll tell you what, bud, that race was absolutely intense from 2nd back through about 8th place for 80 straight laps.
Yeah, that was one of the most intense races I've been in a while, especially for just 2nd place. It was pretty brutal.
What's going through your head there as a driver is you're trying to fight the fuel burn off, the right side tires getting hot, adjust the weight jacker, and oh, by the way, you're 2 and 3 wide the entire lap.
I don't even know how to describe it. Just, I think, I don't know what everyone else was doing, but in my point of view, passing was particularly hard here. So any kind of opportunity I had to take it right then. And so I was doing things like, well, let's see if I can go in the middle of this 3 wide. I don't know if they even know I'm here, but if I can make it work, I can get 2 spots and I'll get out to the next car. You had to kind of take those risks.
Yeah, the racing was pretty darn intense here all night long, and it was a ton of fun to watch here. So congratulations on a very good top 5 finish tonight. Who do you want to thank?
I got to thank Wayne. Poor guy got, I don't know what happened to him, but something went wrong for him tonight. Hopefully he can get a good race in for a change pretty soon. But as usual, he makes the setup that I ran, and I wouldn't be able to get anywhere without him.
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that on, once again, another fantastic points night here. Let's pick up our 3rd place finisher here tonight, Nate Ranke. And Nate, I'll tell you what here, brother, the run you had tonight was very, very good. Up 9 spots, one of the hardest chargers we had in the show here. How did you get up to the front here when passing seemed pretty difficult amongst that top 10?
I got lucky in a few spots. Made most of the right decisions, a few wrong ones. It's all about placing your car. You know, I felt like I had a fast car. I can't qualify at all. And, I made the most of it and tried to race everybody as soon as I could. But man, you got to take every inch you can get.
Yeah, it seemed like that was one of the big things that people were fighting all night was you'd get a great run off the corner and all of a sudden you're kind of stuck in a bad 3 wide spot, or you're not getting the normal type corner entry that you might have expected. How difficult is that to manage over the course of the race as the handling really goes away on these cars?
Yeah, it's difficult. The hardest part, like if you could race a guy one-on-one that you feel like you're a little faster, then it's not too hard. But when you put into play that when you try and make a move, the guy behind you is looking at you, and so on and so forth through the pack, that's where it gets difficult, man. And yeah, as the tires wear out, that last 20, 25 laps there was really intense, really hard racing, and I think pretty darn clean too.
Yeah, it was a spectacular show that all the drivers put on out here tonight. So thank you very much for that, for the great show that you guys put on, and congratulations on the podium finish here, bud. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank you guys for doing these broadcasts and putting this on. This is a blast. The biggest thing I'd like to thank, honestly, after that race is all my fellow competitors. From about 10th to 2nd there, Thomas is in his own league, but from about 10th to 2nd there, man, you could have shuffled us all up, and and totally re-racked the order. We were all really racing the heck out of each other. And I want to apologize to River. I got into him, took him out on the front stretch. I thought I left him room, but maybe I didn't. So I want to say that. And thanks again, guys.
All right, there you go. Nate Ranke, your third place finisher here this evening. And let's bring in a name that we haven't talked to yet here this season, finishing. Okay. Thought we had him still, but I guess we've lost our final interviewee of the night here. So with that, we'll wrap up our coverage here on the National Racing Network. This one has been an absolute blast to watch and call tonight. I'll tell you what here, Mike, the show was fun and really, really intense for 80 straight laps.
Yeah, I mean, just hats off to these drivers for putting on such a great race for this long. And us sprint car guys, we have it a little bit easier. I think we only have a 35, 40 lap race or something to deal with. So, you know, I mean, these guys are for the endurance ones, but so yeah, they're the real heroes of this race. Good job to everybody racing, and yeah.
Yeah, this one was, like we said, this one was a ton of fun to call here tonight. And we're going to have more here from the Iowa Speedway tomorrow night coming up for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. That one is going to be a pretty darn good show. And then we're going to follow it up here with the Carolina SimWorks TNT PM18 All Oval Series. Coming up, actually looks like those guys are heading to Iowa as well. So looks like we're going to have a back-to-back doubleheader here. Sprint cars and PM18s. Throwback to the Carb Night Classic. Don't want to miss. Coming up July 13th, next Tuesday night. The TNT All-Star Dirt Showcase. PM18s on the dirt at Bristol. That one's going to be an absolute, well, show. We'll say it that way. It's going to be a show of some kind. Coming up on Wednesday night, working on something pretty special here for the High Side Hustle. We'll get you more info on that on all of our social channels as the week moves on. Thursday night, the Ezra IndyCar Series and the Indy Pro 2000 Series are back for a doubleheader. And on Friday night, live real-world racing from the Linda Speedway in Jonestown, Pennsylvania. So an action-packed week coming up here on the National Racing Network. But with that, we'll wrap things up here. For Mike Barry, producer Connor Baldwin, fantastic job tonight at the controls, brother. We appreciate it. We will talk to you soon. My name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you joining us here this evening. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a great night, everybody.